Every Friday, millions of Muslims across the world recite Surah Al-Kahf. Some do it because they've heard it brings blessings, others because they've been told it protects against the greatest trial in history, the trial of Dajjal. But have you ever stopped to ask, why this surah? What is it about these verses that make them so powerful against deception? The answer is deeper than most people realize. Hidden within Surah Al-Kahf is a warning, a divine guide that reveals the very blueprint of deception and how to survive it. This isn't just a chapter filled with inspiring stories. It's a survival manual for the end times. To truly understand this, we need to uncover the 4 key trials mentioned in Surah Al-Kahf. These aren't random stories. They represent the exact challenges that Dajjal will use to deceive the world. If you understand these trials and how they unfold, you will not only be prepared for the greatest test in history, but you will also protect yourself from the same deceptions that already exist today. Because the truth is, these trials aren't just coming in the future, they are happening right now. The first trial is the trial of faith, represented by the story of the people of the cave. These young men lived in a society where their belief in one God was under threat. They faced immense pressure to conform, to abandon their faith, and to follow the corrupted practices of their people. Instead of compromising, they chose to leave everything behind and seek refuge in a cave. Their decision was not an easy one. It meant leaving behind their families, their homes, their wealth, and their security. But because of their sincerity, Allah protected them. He put them into a deep sleep for 300 years, preserving their faith and their lives. When they finally awoke, everything had changed, and the oppressive society they once feared was gone. Now, how does this connect to Dajjal? Because Dajjal's greatest trial will be the trial of faith. He will come at a time when belief in Allah will be severely tested. He will create a world where holding on to Islam will feel almost impossible. He will challenge people's trust in Allah, making them question their beliefs, their morals, and their values. Just as the people of the cave had to make a difficult choice, we too will be forced to choose between faith and the comforts of this world. Those who prioritize their faith over material security will be the ones whom Allah protects, just like He protected the youth in the cave. The second trial is the trial of wealth, which is illustrated through the story of the man with 2 gardens. This man was blessed with immense wealth. His gardens were lush, abundant, and self-sustaining. He had everything he could ask for, but instead of being grateful, he became arrogant. He believed that his wealth was permanent, that nothing could take it away from him, and he even doubted the existence of the hereafter. He thought his riches were a sign of his superiority, but in an instant, everything was destroyed. His wealth vanished, his gardens were ruined, and he was left with nothing but regret. This trial is directly linked to Dajjal's deception. Dajjal will use wealth as a tool to manipulate people. He will control resources, food, water, and money, and those who follow him will be given abundance, while those who reject him will suffer hardship. Imagine a world where people are starving, struggling to survive, and Dajjal offers them everything they need in exchange for their loyalty. Many will fail this test because they will prioritize worldly comfort over their faith. They will forget that wealth is temporary and that true success lies in trusting Allah. The story of the man with 2 gardens teaches us that arrogance over wealth leads to destruction, and that gratitude and humility are the only way to preserve our blessings. The third trial is the trial of knowledge, represented by the story of Prophet Musa and Khizr. Prophet Musa, one of the greatest messengers of Allah, was tested with a journey that challenged his understanding of divine wisdom. He traveled with Khizr, a man who had knowledge beyond human perception, and witnessed events that seemed unjust and cruel. Khizr damaged a boat, killed a young boy, and repaired a wall in a town that had shown them hostility. Each time, Musa questioned him, unable to understand why such actions were taken. But in the end, he realized that what seemed harmful was actually a hidden mercy. The boat was damaged to save it from a tyrant, the boy was taken away to prevent him from becoming an oppressor, and the wall was repaired to protect the inheritance of 2 orphans. This trial is crucial because Dajjal's greatest weapon will be deception through false knowledge. He will manipulate reality, making things appear one way when they are actually another. He will show miracles, bringing the dead to life, controlling nature, creating illusions that will convince many people that he is divine. But just like in Musa's story, not everything is as it seems. What looks good may be harmful, and what appears bad may actually be a hidden blessing. Those who fail to seek true knowledge, who rely only on what their eyes see, will fall into his trap. This is why seeking wisdom and understanding is so important. The Quran teaches us that the reality of this world is a deception, and only those who see beyond the illusion will be saved. The fourth and final trial is the trial of power, demonstrated by the story of Zulkarnain. Zulkarnain was a powerful ruler who was given immense strength and authority. Unlike corrupt leaders who abuse their power, he used his strength for justice. He helped the weak, protected the oppressed, and built a barrier to contain the evil forces of Gog and Magog. His story teaches us that true power is not about control, it's about responsibility. It's about using strength to serve others, not to dominate them. Now, compare this to Dajjal. He will be given incredible power, but unlike Zulkarnain, he will use it to manipulate and oppress. He will promise safety in exchange for submission. He will claim divinity and demand obedience. Many will follow him out of fear, believing that siding with power is the only way to survive. But those who understand Zulkarnain's story will recognize that true power lies in righteousness, not in force. The real test is whether you stand firm in your beliefs, even when faced with overwhelming opposition. So, what does all of this mean for us today? The trials of Surah Al-Kahf aren't just stories from the past, they are warnings for the future. They reveal the exact tests that humanity will face during the time of Dajjal. And if we look around, we can already see these trials unfolding. Faith is under attack. Wealth is being used to control people. False knowledge is spreading deception. Power is being abused. The world is being set up for the greatest deception in history, and those who are not prepared will fall. But Surah Al-Kahf doesn't just warn us, it gives us the solution. The Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him, specifically instructed us to recite this surah every Friday because it acts as a shield. It reminds us of the trials, keeps our faith strong, and helps us see through deception. But reciting it is not enough. We must reflect on its lessons and apply them to our lives. We must detach from wealth, seek true knowledge, use power wisely, and most importantly, strengthen our faith so that when the ultimate test arrives, we are ready. The question is, Dajjal's trial is coming. Will you be ready? Thank you.